First 2 years was a complete struggle. I was literally just losing money. Everyone was telling me to quit. Everyone was telling me it was a scam. One of my best decisions was not going to uni, because the 3-4 years that people spent getting their degree, which probably is going to be crazy undervalued in the next couple of years.
Here we are, another wonderful interview ahead here. You've all seen him. It's Danielfx, Instagram superstar. And, you know, I want to know more about the man behind the face. I've heard a lot of the story before. A really fantastic one, but I want to know all about the man behind it. So over to you. Can you give me a little bit of an idea of where this all started for you?
Yeah, thank you for having me first and foremost.
No, pleasure, sir.
So yeah, my trading journey started back like 5.5 years ago. I was 14 at the time when I first got introduced to trading. Originally found some Instagram post of some guy selling signals, and it bombed, like it completely dumbfounded me. It seemed like just a cool way to make money online. Granted, I knew nothing at the time. I was super young, naive. And I got introduced to this company called IML. It was a multi-level marketing company. A lot of people got introduced via this company. And yeah, I was just completely sucked into this whole idea of making money online and having this skill set that can kind of pay you once you learn how to do it. Granted, for the first 2 years, I didn't really know what I was doing. I was just
about to say, the way you stress once you know what you're doing, was it a tough start?
It was definitely a tough start. The first, like I said, the first 2 years was a complete struggle. I was literally just losing money. Everyone was telling me to quit. Everyone was telling me it was a scam.
Is that family, friends?
Family, friends. My mom had a huge issue with it. She was day in, day out telling me to quit, to leave it, to put my time, attention into something else.
Because I've come to this industry only recently, and you hear all about this still, and there are still sort of scammy people around.
Yeah, it's very heavily infested with scammers. Like I would say 99% of the internet is scammers and people who don't actually trade, and other trading products that aren't really fixated on trading itself. Like there's a lot of money being exchanged in the trading space that doesn't directly link into trading, if you get where I'm coming from.
I'd love you to explain more of that, for not for me, but for people out there, because I think there's a lot behind this.
Yeah, for sure. In my opinion, this is a little bit controversial, but like the most profitable thing
the
most profitable thing in trading is selling trading products. So you don't actually have to trade to make money in trading, but via selling information, courses, programs, trading EAs, trading platforms, brokers. Like it's more profitable to position yourself in trading as someone selling stuff than actually being a trader itself.
Sounds counterintuitive, doesn't it? But
it does.
That's the new world, isn't it? Unfortunately.
100%.
But what about you yourself? You're going to go back in a minute to how it started, but you yourself, are you more about selling, trading, or do you actually love trading?
So I'll keep it completely transparent, 100% honest. Obviously, I sell trading products, and I make good money selling trading products. And at this current point in time, I could probably stop trading and just sell trading products, but I still have a passion for it. I still love what I do. I haven't spent 4 years looking at charts and like studying price action for tens of thousands of hours to just not use that skill set. So
that is a perfect answer, because there's people out there, I think, going, why am I doing this? Is this just a waste of time? If you're doing it the right way,
100%.
It's a passion, isn't it?
It still makes me money. It's still like a valuable skill set to have. Like it is genuinely profitable. I do genuinely make money doing what I say that I do. So even being able to share that skill set with other people and still get paid for that, like it's a blessing in both directions, and it gives you like more purpose. Because I feel like, especially there's a certain level in this industry where you get to, where you start making money from prop firms and stuff, and you start looking at the money you're making. You're like, do I deserve this money? What am I doing for the world? Like, what is my actual purpose here? I'm just clicking buttons, looking at price action go up and down, and like there's no real substance behind it. But then teaching other people and helping people out with their situations, and like it gives a sense of purpose and value to what you're doing.
Giving something back, aren't you?
100%.
And you're only 20.
Only 20, yeah. Still getting
started.
Incredible.
So take me back then. You had 2 years of thinking, what the hell is this all about?
Yeah, so 2 years of complete shambles. The first year I was with this company, IML. And that was multi-level marketing. It was more about recruitment, and like it was essentially a pyramid scheme. Obviously, my family hated that. My friends hated that. Like, I was that one annoying guy that any conversation you were there, I'd try to recruit you to this company, try claim that I was making a bunch of money and I didn't know what I was doing. And obviously I was 14, 15 at the time. So I just looked like an idiot because no one believed what I was saying. Eventually came to my senses and understood that this was not real trading. And I kind of went on my own route of trying to educate myself. And so I started initially on baby pips, just going through the program there, learning about like pips and spread and slippage and all the basics. Then went onto YouTube, started doing a little bit of demo trading and stuff like this. And then I had a part-time job as a kitchen porter, like washing dishes and that. I managed to save about 500 quid over the space of like 3 months.
Sounds like a couple of challenges coming.
I put it into just one personal account because at the time funded accounts weren't really a big thing. I had no idea what a funded account was. So I put it into a personal account. And on my first day of live trading in college, I liquidated myself. And it was incredibly painful. I remember walking into college, I sat down, I went into the library, I was sitting next to my friend. And I was
Did you tell anyone?
Just the one friend in it. I told him like, bro, watch this, I'm about to make some money. And I entered a gold short, and then gold went long. And then I moved my stop loss up. And I was already severely over leveraged to begin with, and I moved my stop loss. And then gold went further up, and I moved up, and it went further up, so on and so forth. And I was convinced it has to short, it has to short. And I kept moving it up until the numbers turned red, and I got an email, and my account went. And I remember I closed my screen. My friend asked me like, bro, what happened? I just completely ignored him. I walked out, and I just ended up walking home. And I lived like 45 minutes away from the college I was at.
For 3 hours. Yeah.
So it was just a long walk with my head down, just contemplating my life decisions, contemplating what I'd just done. But in that moment, it hit me that if I had just lost 500 quid in a matter of minutes, that it was simply a lack of skills, a lack of education. And if I just clicked the other button, I could have made £500.
Yeah.
So even though
that's not necessarily like, that's not like wishful thinking and backjobbing. That's literally going, that's true.
It is literally true. Yeah.
Me, I've just got to adapt.
Yeah, I was just being an idiot. I wasn't skilled enough. I wasn't educated enough. I didn't know how to manage my risk. And as a result, I lost my capital. But I understood that there was other people out there that were on the other end of that trade who actually made money. So it's just a simple like matter of educating myself better and developing the skill set, and I could actually use it to my advantage. So it kind of got me hooked. Granted, it was super painful, and it taught me a lot about like loss, a lot about risk management, and I never made that mistake again.
I mean, I think unfortunately not enough people have that or admit to having it and use it in a positive way to get yourself set up, focused, strategy, education, back test, and you go on all about this quite rightly.
100%. I can definitely see why people would quit after like a scenario like that, because it's painful, and like your initial response is like, yo, this is not it. I lost money. I'm not doing it again. Like you don't want to come back into that. What did you do then?
Because I've spoken to some people already today. Their way in post that was right. I'm going to win this, whatever, without changing tack, and thousands of quid going down the drain.
So at the time, again, I must have been maybe like 16, 17. I was working minimum wage at this kitchen porter job, like washing dishes.
So you probably didn't have too much.
So I didn't have, that was all the money I had saved up to put back into the market. So I didn't even have the capital to revenge trade. Maybe if I had more money, I probably would have revenge traded or gone back in, but I just didn't have anything. So
it's probably the right time to do it, isn't it, in a way?
It's beneficial. So I was literally forced to wait another month before I can even get back into the markets, because I had to sit, go back to work, save up some money. Like it took me like quite a long duration to get back in. And via that time, I was obviously back testing, doing more data collection, learning more about the markets and trying to develop my skill set. And when I managed to fund myself again, I started hearing about prop firms and funded accounts and like getting interested in this idea of leveraging capital. When I first heard about it, it was only FTMO that was out at the time. And it was still like a very like weird gray area. No one quite knew, is this company legit? Do they pay out, etc.? So I put my money back into another personal and lost it again for a second time. And learned many lessons from that.
You're starting like Richard Branson, yeah. Keep going.
But yeah, that was essentially my first like 2.5 years of trading summed up. It was just a repetitive cycle of funding personal accounts.
But in the background, you are actually doing some positive stuff, though, aren't you?
So
you're learning.
The entire time I was sitting there, I was journaling, I was actively trying to get better in terms of my psychology, understanding what I was doing wrong. And even though I was losing and I was actively like obviously losing money and everyone was telling me to quit, I was developing experience over the market. I was developing more like experience in my subconscious brain in terms of how price action moves and how the whole market sort of operates.
Yeah, you mentioned this in one of your podcasts recently about the subconscious brain, and there's a book you read, I think, isn't there?
Yeah. So A Blink by Malcolm Gladwell is the book. It's called The Power of Thinking Without Thinking. It's a huge aspect of trading, in my opinion. This is a little bit of a tangent, but in my opinion, trading is all discretionary. There's no such thing as real mechanical trading, because if mechanical trading was really the way forward, then the most profitable way to trade would be simply EAs or having it coded into a bot. But simply the fact that there's still manual traders around and EAs aren't like taking over the world shows you that there's no mechanical set of rules. You can't have a checklist, a yes or no criteria. It's very much discretionary and it's
contextual. It's going to get interesting, isn't it? Because I have quant friends who are building graph models for people. Obviously just that whole touch every angle databasing.
Yeah.
But you've got to feel that it just logically in the back of your mind, the machines will be competing with the machines eventually, and that there will be an opportunity to not be a machine.
For sure.
Just like at the moment, there's so many people wild that there's an advantage being a machine. It'll turn itself around eventually. Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
So where do we get to then? So you're still on the periphery of having money and being qualified.
Yeah, so I was still in this like little circle of unprofitability, trying to develop my skill set.
And you're all on your own still here? Is anyone else doing it with you?
Completely by myself. At this point in time, it's currently coming up on my 3rd year.
How did you feel?
I felt like shit, to be honest. Like everyone was telling me to quit. I had nothing to show for 3 years.
And what were you at this point? Are you A-levels, is it?
Yeah, I was in my A-levels. I was coming towards the end of college. Like this was around COVID period as well. So we're kind of coming out of it.
Stop it off. Yeah.
And as well, the markets were going crazy at this point in time. There's so many fundamentals. Economics were going through the roof. And again, everyone still around me is telling me to quit. They're like, mate, you've been at this for a while now. How much money have you lost? How much money have you made? Everyone's trying to like, what results have you done? And like, it's embarrassing to be like, I've been at this for 3 years.
But you've invested. It's money loaned, isn't it?
It is money loaned, isn't it? And in the end, it all came back. But at that point, like I just felt completely terrible. But I always knew intrinsically that like I was not going to leave the industry. I wasn't going to give up until I found a way to crack it. And
that's good, because that was my question. Yeah. At that point, what was the plan? Were you supposed to be going to uni or?
Yeah, so I was supposed to go to uni. Obviously, I have foreign parents and they're very heavy on go to uni, be a doctor, a dentist, a lawyer, one of the top 3 professions.
Exactly. Don't talk to me unless you have.
Yeah, pretty much. And I hated that idea. And they were already disappointed in me for picking trading and pursuing trading. But they were like, at least at the bare minimum, go to uni anyway. And I was like, no, I'm not going to go to uni. It's a waste of my time, etc. So I was really determined to make some sort of money before having to make that decision to go to uni. So at least
you can always go back. There's this obsession with getting everybody at the same stage. It's to hide. This is it's another social experiment. It's to keep you away from putting pressure on the government. It's ridiculous. Literally, it's not doing you any good.
100%. And one of my best decisions was not going to uni, because the 3-4 years that people spent getting their degree, which probably is going to be crazy undervalued in the next couple of years, I was spending looking at the markets and developing. Yeah, and in debt, yeah. 100%. But yeah, eventually I came to the conclusion that it wasn't the strategy I was trading, it wasn't the technical analysis, it wasn't my approach to the market, but it was just my ability to keep my psychology intact and just trade my system.
Other trader just here.
Yeah, literally. And just kind of trade my system and just keep my head on straight. So after literally trading every strategy on the sun, I went from RSIs to divergence to bull in the bands to EMA cross to ICTs, like some smart money stuff, traded literally everything. And one time I was sitting there looking at price action, it just snapped in my head. I was like, yo, this is all a different variation off of a break and retest.
Yeah.
All of trading, in my opinion.
And you can kind of see it in front of you.
Yeah. All of trading, in my opinion, is just you're finding a trending market, you're finding a bias, finding a key level, you're waiting for price to tap that key level and you're trading in that direction. So in other words, a break, a retest, and a continuation. And once I had that realization, I just simplified all my trading down to just the easiest price action it could possibly be. Started trading it and I started seeing more success in my trading, and kind of took it from there. So it's around my 3rd year I really started seeing profitability. Got funded with My Forex Fund, which I hate that company now, but got funded.
Because it hasn't got ACG in it.
Yeah, it hasn't got ACG. And started scaling from there, started making some payouts, started proving some people wrong. Yeah, it was great. It was great.
That sounds it. Yeah. So your strategy, what day-to-day basis, what do you do? You plan things, I presume, the week before?
So I'm very much on the day sort of trading. So I start off on a daily time frame. I'm looking for 2 things.
So no bias from anything anywhere else?
Not really, no. So daily time frame, I'm doing 2 things. I'm looking for market structure, which for me refers to the past 2 weeks of price action. Are we bullish? Are we bearish? Are we in a ranging market?
And will you wind out to a particular time frame to look at that?
That's the 1 day time frame. So I'm doing that on, yeah. So market structure and then market sentiment, and granted that they're both in the same direction and they have the same bias, which is either bullish or bearish, then I'll scale into an intraday time frame, so an hourly, identify a key level around my New York session like time frame.
Did you ignore the morning session?
Yeah, I don't trade London. Just draw a key level around previous structure, wait for price to tap into that key level around New York session. Simply wait for a slight change in behavior, which I call depletion, which is a confluence that I use. And
depletion, did you say?
Yeah, depletion, yeah.
Oh, good, because this is a new word for me.
Depletion, yeah.
That's good. Please tell me more.
Yeah, so would you like the definition of depletion, or?
No, I'm just joking, but you've mentioned it yourself on your blogs about the exhaustion of a lot of these techniques.
For sure.
It's just, I've not heard that word very often. Nice.
Yeah, depletion actually started off as a joke because I just used it one time as a joke when I was trading with my mates, and they all hated it for some reason. and I just kept it going and I just developed it. Furthermore, this is a different tangent, but all the trading concepts and all these trading words are just different variations off of like a wick projection and stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
It's more complicated words to make yourself seem smarter and make the strategy seem more
I've walked
technical
into this
than
from
it is.
My background going, why are they calling it that? You know, it's like, it's, you know, it's fair enough.
But yeah, just wait for depletion around your key level, and just trade back in the original direction. It's all momentum-based trading. The idea is that if you have the higher time
you're saying depletion is like what kind of fading action?
Yeah, the depletion is just the market showing you that it's no longer retracing. It's no longer pushing back in that direction. That the retracement is finished. It's respecting your area, and it's now ready to head.
Would you drop down into 1 and 5 minutes?
Yeah, so
just to see whether it's doing that.
Yeah. So I'll be doing this on a 5-minute time frame.
Yeah.
And then the final confluence is a little change of character. So a little creation and break of structure back in your direction to align with the higher time frame. And the idea is that if you're in a trending market and price is pushing that in that direction anyway, price is probably going to carry out you're going to hit your TP essentially.
Yeah, and in terms of your holding of a trade, you'd stop lossing and target your rate, your RR.
Yeah, so I literally only trade a 1 to 2 RR. That's it. No partials, no like little TP1, TP2.
I mean, that's a great collection, isn't it? If you put in a series of those together.
Yeah.
So, so you don't really fiddle around?
Not too often. Again, I react to price action, so I typically sit there and monitor my position, like tick for tick, which is generally not like the best thing to do for your psychology, but just because I trade US30 and NAS and they're very volatile, a lot of the times you can catch price action as it's reversing on you. So I generally don't touch my trades, but if I can blatantly see that price action is no longer pushing in my direction, that the behavior is changing, maybe it's failing to break previous structure, or it's giving me an accumulation of wicks in my direction, I'll just get out the trade, secure my profit, and leave it for another day.
Yeah, I mean, because both of those, they're a nightmare, aren't they? Because once they start retracing, it's impulses, isn't it? It's like I got murdered so many times taking them on.
Yeah.
When you think you've seen another signal, it's like what you're doing, and the fact it's not just that it's tech. It's like long bonds.
Yeah.
Because these guys earn the money years to come, interest rates. And it does, the news flow then means the NASDAQ is going to be all over the shop.
Yeah.
But you're going to get, if you get the right signals, you're going to get a real bang for your buck.
100%. Especially when you're trading on a smaller time frame, like a 5-minute or a 15-minute, literally price can reverse on you in a singular candle. Like you can be 1 pip away from take profit. One candle comes and it will wipe you the whole way back down to stop loss. So if you're not actively sitting.
How do you feel? I mean, you seem a guy that is so comfortable in his own psyche and trading. Nothing's going to upset you. You're just accepting it, aren't you?
Yeah, granted, nowadays I don't really have like a emotional reaction to price action like that. Definitely back in the day when I started, I used to borderline cry anytime I got stopped out. Like it was very painful, but it's through taking repeated losses and through experiencing everything the market has to offer, I just developed a tolerance for it. Because if you've been stopped out hundreds of thousands of times and you've been wicked out and prices dumped on you hundreds of times, and like it's just another SL. It's just
when I was chatting on my thing the other day, and somebody asked just how do you deal with the psychology, I was saying it literally is that. And at times, even not to be profitable, it might be in a trade. I'll put a trade on the other way just to stay in.
Yeah.
To get the actual feel of the market. Having spent all my life looking every day at charts and actual candles, you get a beat of the market, don't you?
Yeah, for sure.
If you have the ability and time to, not everyone has, but if they have, it's often in some of your periods where you're just watching and waiting for the setup. It's literally instructive to be involved, just to feel it. You can feel that impulse building. You know when there's someone. So sometimes you have to look back and say, "Oh, that was an area where it's built." You can physically see the rejection. It's like it makes a big difference, and then it sticks with you. It's like
100%. Yeah.
So what's next then? Because last time I listened to you, you were talking about you're at 500,000 and you're looking at $1 million. And
so
where are we on that journey?
Looking to scale to 7 figures in funded allocation. I'm getting very, very close.
Excellent.
Coming up. I believe right now, it depends what accounts you count, but I'm around like 700K mark in funded capital.
And how do you play having so many accounts and all the regulations with the different rules?
Yeah.
Do you have individual strategies with each one, or?
Yeah, I trade my accounts completely separate, so I don't link them up via a copy trade or any of that. I just trade them individually, and I trade the same strategy across all of them. But because I am a discretionary trader, which means I just trade whenever I kind of feel like trading, essentially, based off of my confluences, I grade all of my trades on like a grading system. For example, an A star would be like the highest quality setup.
And will you then allocate the capital accordingly?
Yeah, exactly. So some accounts I trade 1% risk, which is my standard risk. Other accounts I trade like 0.5%, which is more a conservative approach. And then I have more aggressive accounts, which I allocate to 2%.
And is that grading on different time frames? Would you hold anything over more than a day or not?
No, if I'm following my plan correctly, no.
No, I'm saying, is there a little out there strategy that you have on a
so it's dependent. I think the only time I would actually consider holding a trade overnight is if it's German 30, because German 30 typically takes a little bit longer to move, and it typically just trends a little bit harder. So generally speaking, I kind of avoid that due to like swap fees, and it's too volatile overnight. Price can retrace on you while you're sleeping. You wake up to a stop loss. It's happened to me a couple of times.
Yeah, I know. It's not as bad as it used to be, because you got all these day options now. That's taken a lot of the vol, because people close out, so it hits the vol down overnight, and then there's very little gap for the next day. But, so that used to be the whole problem with being a trader. Gap, you had to live with it for the weekend. Like, where the hell is that opening? And I think there's one of the years in like 2007, 8, something like that. 60% of the gains for the year were all done in gap opens. So how the hell do you trade that?
Crazy.
Like, you're just getting buried as soon as the session opens. That's good. Any trends at ACG or the industry that you think we should be aware of? Should ACG be changing? Is ACG doing a good job?
Yeah, kind of ACG these past.
And I know that you're an influencer. You've told us that, and you like ACG. But
so obviously I know I'm biased, and I'm currently sitting here wearing ACG merch, and we've got the whole thing going on.
But from what I'd like to repeat to everyone, I was chatting to Daniel earlier about the way that he speaks on his blog, and it's a fantastic blog that you do. And you talked about struggling to articulate. So I said, there's no struggling of articulation for me. I've never seen anyone else online for someone your age, pull so many strands together without slagging someone off. Because that's the rest of them. They're just fighting. They're telling you something, and then they can't help but have a dig at someone. You have thought and reasoned through everything, pulled the drawstrings through. So I'm really interested in what your views are on where the industry is and is going, what ACG are like in that. Because I think you've got something genuine to say. Yeah,
thank you. I think right now the industry is in a very like unique place in terms of like the influencers currently have a chokehold on the market. Like the influencers, any like trading creators right now have such influence over the market in terms of like, there might be, and I'm not going to say any names, I'm not going to call anyone out.
No, sure.
But there's a lot of prop firms out there right now that are just ran by creators and ran by influencers who don't have like a background in finance, who don't have any real backing, who have white labeled their company, the tech's not there, the back end's not there. And simply put, they're just sub-tier prop firms, but they perform exceptionally well because the marketing and the personal brand associated with it. And I think what we're going to see in the next like year and a half, 2 years in the prop firm space is a lot of these prop firms that don't have real backing and don't have a real foundation, like they're going to go to shit, they're going to float away. And there's going to be a lot of unhappy customers who are going to be floating around. So
customers really need to have a think where their accounts are.
Yeah, 100%. They need to really think about the longevity of what firms they're trading with and who's actually running the firm. And I think we all learned a very important lesson with the whole My Frozen Fund situation, My Forex Funds rather.
Yeah, My Frozen. Don't like that.
But we all learned a very important lesson with how quickly it can all get taken away.
Did you get badly burned there?
I did get badly burned, lost like over $250,000 in capital, had some pending payouts on the way and stuff as well, and it all just got taken away overnight. And luckily I was in a position where I had other funded accounts and other capital to fall back on, but I can imagine if someone who's
was there a sense at the time that this was going to happen?
I had no idea. No. I if anything, I was complaining the like previous 2 weeks about spread, and I was complaining about how a lot of my trades were getting missed and like I was getting slipped a bunch, but I just thought it's just bad trading conditions. But I definitely didn't think it was headed in the direction it was headed in. There was no real indication that this firm was completely fraudulent. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been there and I wouldn't have purchased more accounts of them. But I think we all learned a very important lesson from that. And moving forward, very, very important to align yourself with like real solid companies that have a real backing and has like actual longevity like ACG. And that's why I'm such a huge advocate for these guys.
To back us, isn't it? What can you give me an instance of what do we do that other people don't necessarily do, and why do you think we should keep doing it?
Yeah, so there's a couple of things that Alpha do. Number one, I feel like the customer service is like so on point. Granted, obviously, I chat to the owner directly and stuff, but everyone else, like in my Discord.
When he's a crazy horse. I mean,
he chats to everyone.
He could have 60,000 calls coming in. He'd somehow find a way. I know.
100%. And I think the team actually care. Like that's a major aspect I've seen. Like the team actually care. It doesn't matter even if it's someone with like the smallest 5K account and they have a little problem. Like the team will generally be on it. They'll generally help out. They'll treat it like to the highest level of importance, and they don't screw over everyone. They just let everyone trade. You do your own thing. You manage your own risk. All of that, and it's good. But besides from that, I think another aspect is the events that Alpha put on are really cool. Right. Don't see a lot of companies doing that. Granted, it's not a major aspect in terms of the evaluations and stuff. It doesn't change the game too much. But I think it's pretty cool.
It's nice. It feels like we're reaching out and trying to be there. One or two people have touched on it, and it kind of, I think I asked you because I saw what you said you like trading, the NASDAQ and the US and Germany, which is touched on. That's the only one that Tom plays. Do we need to increase our offering in other areas, other markets that you wouldn't play purely because of the lot restrictions? Or
I think it would be interesting to see alpha kind of move into like the future space. I think there's quite a big market for that in the States and stuff like that. But generally speaking, only real like area of improvement for alpha, in my opinion, is just higher lot sizing, like restrictions on some of the indices and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Aside from that, I've got no problems with alpha. I'd want to see more allocation though, a higher max allocation, because I've been stuck at max allocation with alpha for a while, and I'd like to get more.
The three, that's 2 or 3 people have brought that up today. It's be an interesting one. I know. Everyone's got to manage exposures, as you can appreciate.
Of course.
Yeah, it's certainly something that needs looking at.
Yeah.
Any other things that you want to get across that you've seen happening in the industry at the minute? Anything really annoying you that's out there?
Let me think.
I know I haven't given you advanced prep on that one, but I just wondered if there's any practices you've seen suddenly turning up in the last 6 months from anyone that people need to look out for.
Any practices? Nothing I can think of immediately. Nothing I can think of in it. Yeah.
And other than the trading side, and you want to get to the million, are there any goals you've got outside the trading idea? And have you got any other interests that people would want to hear about?
All right. So to answer your first question, any other goals? I definitely want to scale my like social media presence and help more people out in terms of trading. Like I've seen the impact I've had in terms of my like community, in terms of people I've personally taught and like mentored, and like one of my students, Hamid, shout out to Hamid if you're watching this, but he just turned 18 and he's got a 10K payout on the way.
And awesome.
Like it's great to see like someone like younger than me as well, who's gotten into the trading space, who's funded, who's making like real money, and who's actually helping out his parents and stuff like that. So I think that's probably my main goal this year, is just to help more people do what he's done.
Because that is, the more you see the community, people genuinely are doing this to survive and try and
100%
and change things around. It's not people being flash and throwing money around. It's
100%. I think the most important payouts are like not the ones you spend on like random clothes and like designer and stuff like this, but genuinely like helping out your family, paying some bills, like making a real difference. And it's cool to see that me helping someone acquire a skill set has like subsequently helped someone else like out in their genuine like family situation and stuff like that. So I do want to scale social media. I want to get to 100K on Instagram, 100K on YouTube.
Well, I think you've got the credentials, and you certainly you come across really well. Any other interests you have outside trading?
So my main thing at the moment is biking, motorbikes. Yeah, I'm really big on the motorbikes. I just purchased a new motorbike, a Yamaha MT-07.
Okay.
Shout out to US 30 for paying for that, and shout out to German 30 for paying for my exhaust system as well. It's on the way.
Awesome.
But yeah, that's what I've been doing recently, man. I just trade and make videos up until whenever I can be bothered to stop doing that, like 7-8 p.m. and I just ride. That's pretty much me, mate. Yeah.
And where do you live?
Well, I live in Brighton.
You live in Brighton.
Brighton.
Do you do all your trading from down there, or are you on the road at times?
Yeah. So I travel like a fair amount. I've been in and out of Asia quite a bit. I just came back from like a month and a half in Thailand.
Wow.
Over the December period, which I was trading in Thailand. I passed an additional 300K in funding with the funded trader, which is pretty cool. That counts now in drawdown, but we don't speak about that.
I think it's healthy to have a drawdown every now and again. It just sets you back on the right path.
It's a little 1%, $3,000. It's all right.
Nothing to you.
It's all right, yeah.
Well, that's really, really interesting, and I hope you've enjoyed that. It's been really interesting for me, and say I'm becoming a fan already from the things I've seen. You've got a lot of clever things to say, and we're glad to have you backing as an alpha. So it's been a
thank you
pleasure.
for having me. Yeah.
Cheers, sir.
Cheers, mate.